fucking everything. So it's blood, sweat and tears, and people say it, but like at one point I was so stressed about the edit, I was like grinding my teeth at night and like blood was dripping out on the pages at 7 a.m. when I was starting writing, and I'm thinking, God, here I am, an embodiment teacher, you know, doing this. And it's like, first of all, it's way more work than I expected. Like writing a book, it's way harder than having a baby. Any mothers out there? Way harder, way harder. It's just been a process to write it that on the one hand it's been like hugely passionate and driven and like wanting to get up early, wanting to stay up late, but I just didn't realize how much work writing a book is. If you're thinking about writing a book, do not even consider it unless you absolutely love the subject. And that's what else has got into book, as well as tears of me, because I was editing like some of the most traumatic and meaningful events in my life. Just imagine going over those things in your life. It was kind of therapy in a way. It was like integrating a sort of trauma healing arc, integrating a journey from disconnection to connection, which is very beautiful and very healing actually, but also at times really rough just to be saying, right, this is the worst day of my life. Let's go over this 20 times to find where the commas should be. That is pretty rough. Working with an editor, like, yeah, get rid of that part, okay, you know. So that's the blood, sweat and the tears. And then there's also just the love in it, that this is everything that I love. You know, there's a part of me, I wouldn't say I'll die happy because I've got some stuff still to do, but it's a piece of that. You know, when you do something, you go, this is a bit of legacy. This is a bit of what I was here for. I don't want to get too grandiose. The British part of me thinks that's nonsense, but we have some purpose in the world. And to have written something which I go, you know what, the prose might not be perfect. It might not be the best book ever. I'm sure if I do it again in 10 years, it'll be better. I'm already thinking of stuff I could have added in. But there's me in there. This is some purpose for me. This is something I was here to do. And it's not nothing. You know, to have written out, I go, I feel proud of it. You know, I was looking at the first copy printed out, and it was just from my printer. It wasn't a proper book copy. And I was looking at it, and I brought it to my wife, and I was like, I'm really proud of this, you know. She didn't know it was dedicated to her either, so I gave it to her. Made her happy too. But yes, there's a lot of love in there. And I've held nothing back, both in terms of my best work. Like, you know, a corporation might pay me thousands of pounds, but it's all in the book for $12.99. So nothing's held back in terms of the work, and also personally. I felt like if I was going to do an embodiment work, it needed to be personal. I couldn't hold back. So it's all there. Mark Walsh, author of Embodiment, Moving Beyond Mindfulness. So I thought I'd read out a few bits from the book. Got it written down, so I haven't memorized it. Okay, why bother with embodiment? There's a good one to start with. When we start to see the body as the most accessible part of ourselves, we are profoundly empowered. We gain access to our own operating system. We can know ourselves to a new depth, can change our state and develop our being. We cease to be victims. We connect to and influence others more effectively. We become more ethical. Simply and profoundly, we reclaim our humanity and our birthright by coming back home. That's why I write the book. Okay, what else we got? 10 reasons you might want to develop your embodiment and read the book. 1, to know what is blindingly obvious to everyone else about you. 2, to have a choice in how you are. 3, to manage your neurotic insanity a little bit more skillfully. Some of this is funny to read out loud. 4, to be a bit less of an asshole a bit more of the time. 5, to be a more compelling leader, more sensitive parent, or more vibrant lover. Yeah, better sex or your money back with this book. 6, to heal your shit that your parents couldn't so that you don't pass it on. 7, to have more fun and deepen every pleasure. Genuinely, embodiment helps with that. To stop making everything so bloody complicated and start enjoying the simplicity of your relationships. To be more creative. To tune into a clearer sense of life purpose. There's a whole chapter on that, actually, a whole piece on that. 7 more. To feel deeply at home in your own skin. To have a bodily sense of belonging. I think that's really the core of the book, to feel at home in yourself. That's what embodiment is. Sometimes people talk about intimacy with self, yeah. To play more freely with children of all ages. Playfulness is there. To get unhooked from addictions, large and small. I'm long-term sober, so I can vouch for that one. to be better connected to your own needs and values, to be less easily pushed around by others' agendas, to be more sexually attractive in a way that has nothing to do with your physique or standard physical beauty norms. 2, and screw every cynic who has given up on this, to make the world a bit better. To feel fully alive and be fully human. Simple. That's what it comes down to. Glad I wrote this book. Okay, the 10 Fs. So these are what, another way of looking at embodiment is to look at it in terms of the capacities, the functions of being human. So feeling, things like mindfulness, that's in the book. Freeing, so self-regulation, centering, we do plenty of that in the book. Friending, embodied connection, relationships. Fighting, so martial arts, big influence on the book, though it's not a martial arts book. Fixing, healing arts, another influence. Fleeing, running and parkour. Fucking, naughty word. Romance, tantra, seduction, another part of the book. Frolicking, humour, play, improv. Funking, dancing, expressive arts, again another influence on the book. In the book it like lays out all these different practices and some really cool graphics that you can see on the website, theembodimentbook.com, which lay out all these different kinds of practices. And lastly, feeding, so restorative rest practices. They're some of the ones I haven't had quite enough of while writing the book.